We're so happy to have with us Susan Morales, once again in our BT studios, of course, one of our makeup artists here for another edition of her Pro Tips. Susan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Joanne.
All right, so Susan, today we're talking about something very specific. We're talking about blemishes, pimples. We all get them, and makeup.
Yes.
In terms of how to cover them. You don't want to look cakey.
No.
And we brought a model. You brought a model here, Caroline, who's 15 years old, right? The peak, the sort of the peak age of puberty and pimples. So what's the first thing we need to keep in mind when it comes to pimples and makeup?
So again, I know I say it all the time, but apply less.
Okay.
And just focus on the areas that you need to hide. Because when you focus on those areas, then all the areas that don't have any problems, you leave it alone and just apply very, very light foundation on those areas.
Okay.
But the focus should be on
the pimple itself.
Exactly. With a good concealer and with the good steps, then you will be able to hide it and have a beautiful, flawless effect, just like Caroline here.
Right, because I think a lot of people make the same, like I said, 15 years old, 16 years old, teenagers, women of all ages get pimples, and I think the tendency is to sort of try to mask the whole face.
Exactly.
You're saying we got to start and follow these simple steps. So the first step involves preparing the skin, preparing the blemish, right?
Yes,
okay.
Primer. Primer, it's a must because primer will keep your makeup the whole day, and that will help a lot. So I started to do a primer with Caroline, and what I love is that I'm using today all the products of Makeup Forever, that they have amazing primer. You don't want a primer that it's too cakey, you want a primer that it's light, because the more layers you put, the more cakey you look.
It reminds me of when I was in high school trying to cover a pimple. You just keep adding, and then it's the worst. So what do we, you know, people are going to look at this and say, this is green. Why am I looking at a green product for my face?
Anything green as a primer will hide all the redness. So this is what you need, and you just need to apply this on the red sections.
So apply it on the pimple. Don't cover your face in green. Okay.
No. So start with the primer, then the green primer to hide the redness, and after that, then you apply the concealer, but only on the problems areas.
Okay, so so a lot of people would think if I have to put this bit on, the green bit on, then I'm going to go directly to foundation. You're saying concealer is important and the right concealer is important.
Exactly, yes. So I apply the same concealer as a skin tone.
Okay.
You don't want to go darker. You want to make sure that it doesn't show.
Okay.
And this is a full coverage, and that's what makes a difference. A good concealer will stay and will cover perfectly your blemishes.
Okay. You have a powder here. We need to talk about this because this is important, right?
Yes, it's very important to set your makeup with a powder. If you don't do that, then the makeup will move. So this will help to stay flawless also. So we have a nice powder here from Makeup Forever. It's a setting powder.
It's a setting powder. Okay,
yes.
So once all this is done, and again, we're only focusing on the blemish here, not the whole face. We do have to take care of the rest of the face. We're talking about using the right foundation now once you've prepped the problem area.
Exactly. So they have different foundation. You have more coverage and a light coverage. So what I did on her is I just applied the light coverage around the no problems areas, and where I needed to hide a bit more, I applied the HD foundation from Makeup Forever.
So HD is what we use in television, and you're saying this helps to cover blemishes in real life.
Yes,
without looking cakey.
Without looking cakey, and you need to get the primer first.
Okay, so follow the steps.
Follow the steps.
Don't just put HD makeup on your face and walk around on the street. People, that will look heavy, right?
We will see the redness. Okay. Yes, it doesn't hide.
So it's important to follow up the steps with the proper foundation.
Yes.
And you've talked to me a lot about this. First of all, we should all be doing this, but especially if you have problem skin, maintenance, taking care of, removing. Tell me about all of that.
So when you have a problem with your skin, you need to clean your skin every time that you're going to bed, before going to bed, because you need to let the skin breathe. Without doing that step, then your makeup will not look flawless the following day, because then you have all the extra residue, and when you apply that on top, it never looks good. So you really need to have a good eye remover, a good makeup remover, and this is one of my favorite ones for Makeup Forever, because when you're lazy and you don't have time to go put water and remove makeup, you just use this with a cotton swab, and it removes all the makeups, and then you can go to bed. It helps.
I'm trying to remember my teenage. First of all, I wasn't allowed to wear makeup when I was a teenager, but you know, your teenage stuff is often not trying to get out of bed, right? Yeah. You don't want to do it. But if you are covering up the blemishes, this is an important step.
Yes.
And you said something to me also very important: moisturizing.
Yes.
A lot of people who have acne think, forget it, I'm not adding oil or moisture to my face. You say what?
So I understand for oily skin, it is different. So right now in the market, they have so many amazing moisturizers that it's with any type of skin. Exactly, thank you. So if you apply the right moisturizer, it will help you also to have the flawless effect. So don't be scared to use moisturizer, even if you have oily skin.
Right, because makeup on dry skin doesn't sit well. You can use whatever you want as a primer. It will not sit well. We have a before and after picture of Caroline just to show the difference that proper techniques make, right? Look at that. So you've prepped it, you've primed it, you've gotten it ready, and I mean, her skin looks absolutely flawless. And also we should mention, because you did talk about some blush, yes. I was afraid when I was, whenever I get a pimple, I'm afraid to use blush. You say, yes. Lighter hand? Lighter hand,
no shimmer. Especially if you have problems areas on your cheekbones, don't use any shimmer because the more shimmer you have, the more you will see the problem area. So avoid anything shimmer, use matte. Always matte. That's your goal.
I have a feel like oftentimes when we see you tend to say to avoid the shimmer. Maybe leave the shimmer for the makeup artist. Susan Morales, thank you so much for joining us again. Thank you for sharing your pro tips. Caroline, you look fantastic. I guess also do remember to wash all the makeup off at the end of the day. We'll see you very soon.
Thank you, Joanne.
All right, stay tuned. You're watching BT on City.